And being burnout doesn't mean you're lazy. It doesn't mean you're not interested. It just means you're burned out. You needed to take care of yourself as much as you were taking care of whatever's got you burned out.
Hello, welcome to Conversations with Neuvias. My name is Carol. We have the lovely Marge,
Good morning.
and our topic today is burnout.
Burnout. Lots of people dealing with that.
Yes, and it's funny because we were just talking earlier about some of my staff members who I feel that they either need to take an extensive vacation or just, get out of the store for a hot minute. So burnout is a big factor in America today.
It is. It
I,
really
I
is.
yes.
So,
So, uh-huh.
what
Oh, go ahead.
exactly is burnout?
Yeah. It's just exhaustion. You're mentally, emotionally, spiritually exhausted, all the above. And so I just think that when you're constantly going and going and your body's not resting and you're moving and just trying to get everything accomplished that you have to get through the day, you just it's an overwhelming pressure on you and you feel like you didn't accomplish what you needed to. And so,
Right.
yeah, it's just so much expectations, the responsibilities. So that's kind of how I would say it, that we place on ourselves like that.
Yeah. I think, oh, we're having a feedback. It's like your microphone's picking up my speech sometimes, or you got a ghost that's sneaking in because it's not doing it now. That's weird. Oh, as
He
he's roaring.
Yeah, this is Barry. It's Barry. It's he's I had got him online. He's haunted, and he's been falling off my shelf. And I just said, you know what, come over here with me. So I'm guessing that's he likes to show their presence. Um,
That's neat.
yeah. So we were talking on the subject of burnout, and Marge asked me what it was. I referred, um, spoke like I said, it's an emotional drain and
Yeah.
overwhelming and stuff. And so Um, so also, it's also if you think about it too much, it's also like a disconnection. You feel disconnected with
Yep.
your
Disconnected. Yeah.
yeah, your day-to-day routine, and it just becomes so cumbersome, like I mentioned earlier, and you just feel like you just don't want to be there in that particular what you're doing on your day-to-day, and
Yeah.
you need some type of engagement elsewhere.
hmm You get a little cynical and your productivity goes through the floor.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
just makes everything just feel like, ugh, why?
Yeah.
Why do I have to do this
And there's
again?
no, I know that's why I say, and there's no joy or fulfillment. Like you're not, when you start a new job, you're excited, or anything for that matter that you're starting new.
Yeah.
You're excited, you're ready to do it, and you get in there, you get your feet wet, and you start going. And then maybe a year later, you're just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here?
Yeah. Well, and I think some of it is like you said, you just end up in a routine and it's just, you get up in the morning, you go to work, you deal with all this crud, you come back home, you're so exhausted because of the burnout that you
Yeah,
don't do anything to enrich yourself because you don't have the energy to do it.
right.
And that just makes a perpetual cycle into more burnout, more burnout, more burnout.
No, that's true. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people in our country has so much burnout. Like, and it makes you angry and ugly as a person, and you don't mean to be, but that your mindset is like
Yeah.
warped because of the burnout.
You've lost your joy.
Yeah, I always tell people like, you better find a job, especially with the kids where I work out there. Like, you better be damn well that you find a job that you enjoy, because that's going to be it. If you don't enjoy your job, why even be there?
Right.
So,
I
but
think that
uh-huh.
some of it's not just work related. Sometimes it's also like caregivers? What kind of people get burnout? People that are in the same routine all the time. So if you're a caregiver of a loved one that's not feeling well, that can lead to
Mhm.
burnout, and it can go very quickly, depending on the intensity of the situation. You feel
Right.
like you feel like, what is the point in continuing this way? And you get cynical about everything around that burnout. And then you start looking badly at yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm lazy. You're not lazy. You're burned out. You need to
Yeah.
find some joy, make some joy in your life, and find something to be happy about.
Yeah. I no, that's true, Marge. I don't know. I think too with burnout, you need to take a break because I mean, what's the saying? All work and no play makes
Jack a
Jack a
dull
dull
boy,
boy.
right?
Yeah, and so yeah, so you have to have a balance there. If you don't have that balance, and when you are in that rut and stuck and feel like you're not moving forward, you have to step out of that entirely to figure out another maneuver or way or like some downtime, lots of downtime
Yeah.
for sure. I was gonna tell you, Marge, I did pull a couple of decks while we were in it. Um, on our small breaks. I got the angel therapy. I don't know if I've done this one before, but that's a very
I'm
good
not
deck.
sure.
I got the Four Agreements today
Oh,
also. It's the Don Miguel Ruiz.
good book.
Yeah. And then of course I got the Spirits of the Animals.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, it's a little deck,
They're
but
little ones.
I wanted to start with the angel therapy just because we are talking about burnout and maybe ways that we can probably cope with. Okay, that flew out quickly.
Uh-oh.
It says books.
Huh.
Yeah. And it says your life purpose involves writing, reading, editing, or selling spiritually based books. So let's talk about that because that card just shifted out and we're in the process of talking about burnout. So I would probably say the reason this card probably came out, maybe as we were talking about burnout, you're so frustrated with what you're doing now. Maybe you step back and start. Marjorie says journaling. Start journaling, get some of that energy in a different flow. This is probably talking about maybe even creating a book or something, or doing a spiritual book.
Right?
So that's while you're journaling, you start creating more and more because it's taking away from that burnout that it's like a rejuvenation, so to speak.
Right. The creativity. Journaling. Yeah, journaling helps raise your joy. If you're doing
Mhm.
something creative is a release. It's like going to the gym and working out. It just releases endorphins because you can get excited about something. If you can get excited about something, then that helps recover from the burnout
Uh,
and pull you back in.
hmm. Yeah, no, that is true. It's also about recognizing that you're burnt out. So people don't will go and push themselves to no limits because if you're like me, I'm one of those people that if I have to get it done in that moment, and I don't care how long it's going to take me, I have to get it done. Get it done.
Yeah. But you can't push yourself through burnout.
No, you can't. You
You have to
can't.
do self-care.
Yes. And that's why. So speaking of self care, that's why I did bring in the four elements because the Don Miguel Ruiz, like Marge said earlier, the book is good. That he just came out with this, or this is a 48 card deck that also kind of comes if you don't have access to the book.
Neat.
Yeah. Okay, let me pull one over there. Maybe it won't fly out at me this time.
I think that was interesting that book thing came out because the journaling is so helpful, and we're gathering authors for our spiritual insights from everyday practitioners. So maybe you want to put a chapter in.
Yeah. If
Go to the new
anybody,
go to the Neuvias website, check it out.
yeah. I know. I was thinking about that too. I said, oh, maybe it's trying to tell us whoever watches the podcast might have some insight to helping us with our Neuvias book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get your
interesting.
story out there.
So these cards here, Marge, they have two sides. And I think it's really cool. So on the one side, it says always do your best. Practice makes the master. And almost looks like a mandala.
It does.
Yeah. And then on the other side, it says, by doing your best over and over, you can master the art of transformation. By doing your best, the habits of misusing your word, taking things personally, and making assumptions will become weaker and less frequent with time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and remember, we're talking about doing it over and over, but this is doing your best can master the art of transformation. So
Yeah.
maybe as you're working and you're so burned out, and maybe, and then not have to be work, like it could be just anything in general, maybe change it up a bit so it doesn't become a cumbersome routine that you're doing constantly,
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's what that card's saying, just
Yeah.
stepping outside of the box.
I think that some of it is doing some self-care, do some journaling, go do something that you love to do, something creative. And that doesn't mean you have to draw pictures or do photography or, you know, invent something unless you love to do that. Find something you love to do. It really does help. And reevaluate your priorities. Why are you working to this point? And is what you're doing worth feeling like this?
That's
Right?
true. Yeah. And there's my thing when, like, I think I may have said this 1,000 times before, but like when I feel like I'm burned out, I go out and I shuffle, and that's kind of my release there. And if I do 15 minutes of it, I'm happy and content with that.
Yeah.
Um, Getting out in nature, I cannot stress that enough, over and over again. And I live in Texas. Sometimes it's extremely hot to get out in nature, but even if you just make some downtime to just get outside for a hot minute, to just kind of either walk around the neighborhood or just, get out in a park or something, that kind of sets your mind continuously. Um, Even just taking a small little break from what you're doing on the day to day
Yeah.
will help.
Even if it's something you love,
Mhm.
it can still lead to a burnout situation.
Yes. I mean, it's just there's so many things. You don't want to get yourself burnt out to where it's so extreme that you are so angry with the world because you're having to cope with it in a different manner.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure Marge. Some people get so burnt out and they just don't know how to cope with it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of the thing. It's like a cycle to it's a circular situation into burnout because you start with something that's irritated you or upset you, or you're just going and going and going and not taking care of yourself. And then you start getting a little resentment. And then from the resentment, it goes to irritation. And then it can just spiral into a place where you're like, forget it. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Forget it. I can't deal with this. And sometimes that gets to the point where you need to get some counseling or get a mentor or therapy or just get a community of people that you can actually just enjoy yourself with or just talk through the stuff. Find your best friend and kind of go through it.
Yes. Yeah. No. It's definitely a trigger effect.
Yeah.
Because once one starts coming, and then another thing happens, and then something else happens, and then so forth and so forth, and
Right.
it becomes so overwhelming that you're just like, oh my
Yeah. It feels like you're doing 52 pickup every day.
gosh.
Remember the 52 pickup where you throw the cards in the air when you were a kid? And yeah,
Yes.
it just feels like, let me just forget it. Forget it. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to do this. And this is different. Burnout is different from depression. It's a completely different thing. But, and, we're not medical or psychological doctors here. So if you're feeling concerned about something like that, please make sure you go see somebody professional. But that being said, there is a difference between it, and being burnout doesn't mean you're lazy. It doesn't mean you're not interested. It just means you're burned out. You needed to take care of yourself as much as you were taking care of whatever's got you burned out.
That's true. I was going to ask you, how do you feel about fulfilling that burnout? Like, how can you find fulfillment in a burnout?
I think if you take the time to focus and reflect on the burnout and why you're feeling that way, um, it goes a long way towards helping you to resolve it and come back from it. It's not a life sentence. It's a period of your life that's going to help you find your next step.
No, I
Did
agree.
that answer your question?
Yes, yes, it did. I was just thinking, like, because I know, like I mentioned earlier, some people don't know how to cope with it. And so
Right.
maybe if you find some fulfillment in your burnout, like you realize, like, okay, maybe a small little vacation or even just a weekend getaway, it'll do your soul wonders.
Yeah.
And some people like, yeah, I don't have that time on my hands. You have to make the time. I hear that a lot. Well, I don't have the time, or I don't have the finances to do it. Sometimes you don't even need the finances to just go outside in nature, or just go outside and enjoy something so simple. Sit
Hmm.
at the park if you have to. It could
That's
be
true.
anything simple. You don't have to spend a fortune
Yeah.
to, yeah, help with your burnout. So,
And sometimes you just need a complete change. I've been in burnout a couple of times,
mhm.
and it's usually just because something's frustrated me and I've been working so hard, and mine's been around work mostly. One of them was a caregiver role. But it doesn't just affect that. It affects everything in your life. It affects your health, it affects your sleep, it affects your eating, which can lead to other things.
Right.
And you cannot afford to ignore it because it
Mm,
does affect your whole life.
yeah. No, I agree. I know when I was overexerting myself at one of my jobs, and I just, it became too much, too overwhelming all at once. And my health was going down because I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. I was just on coffee mode, like go, go, go to keep me going. And
Yeah.
so I truly hear what you're saying, because I'm pretty sure we've all been there at one point in our life where you just, yeah, your health starts depleting. And, I had to go to the doctor for the doctor to say, you either quit this job or you kill yourself trying to continue this job.
Yeah.
And so I had to really step back and analyze, like, because I was just trying to get it to 100%, where I was working. And so, anyways, long story short, yeah, I ended up putting my 2 weeks medicine, and it was the best thing that I could have done for my health and myself. So,
Yeah. It's funny when you think about burnout, it's one of those things that kind of sneaks up on you, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, you recognize it because it's just gotten to this point where you got that tipping point, right?
mhm.
It's really strange how it happens. Unnoticed is sneaking in under the radar.
Oh yeah, it happens unexpected because you don't think, you're just trying to get whatever it is that you need to get done.
Yeah.
And and then sometimes this is how it happens too. You're getting something done, then something else happens, comes
Yeah.
up on board, and then you have to try to get that done. And then something else happens, and then you're trying to get that done.
And I think a lot of people don't realize you can actually avoid burnout if you make yourself and your mind a priority. Because what it is basically you're stressed and you're not managing the stress.
Mhm.
You're not giving yourself the break. You're not doing the self care things that bring joy into your life. And so you don't have a release from the stress.
Yeah, it's about finding your self-worth. Like, we're all worthy of just anything. And so it's finding that self-worth within you to understand that, yes, you're amazing and fantastic and you can do all things, but at the same token, you have to step back and like I said, find that balance to, I'm working hard at this and now I need a break, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's kind of like nurturing a relationship with yourself. If you're nurturing a relationship with a significant other, you're making sure that no matter how busy you are, you're taking time for each other. You need to take time for yourself too. Make a
yeah,
date for yourself. Go have a coffee at Starbucks if that's what you love, or a donut at Dunkin' Donuts if that's what you love, or just go for a walk, like Carol said. Make sure that you're taking time for yourself.
yeah. Even just getting a massage, they have this massage. Oh my God. I was like, I need a massage. But yeah, going out and getting massages, if you can afford to spend a little bit of TLC on you, do it because it's much deserved and much needed, and you deserve it.
Absolutely.
Well, I will pull another card, Marge, from the Spirit of the Animals deck and see what they have to say since we are on the roll today with our
Sounds good.
burnout. Burnout. Okay. I know. Speaking of burnout, I'm ready for vacation. All right. So this one we got it's the polar bear.
I love that card.
It's
I have
beautiful.
that same deck.
Do you
Yeah.
the spirit of the animal? So this one says mystic, and I think I may have used this one before on a prior. But it says know that challenges make you stronger. Have faith when you face adversity. Take time to rest, dream, and renew your strength. Embrace your psychic abilities, and you carry the shaman within.
Nice.
Exactly everything that we're talking about that you need to do for yourself with burnout.
Yep. Yep, indeed. Beautiful. Perfect
Yeah,
card, of course.
of course. Yeah, it couldn't have said it any better. So taking that time for yourself and facing your adversity. Yeah, that's such a beautiful card.
It is.
Renewing. Remember, it's when you are burned out, it's all about you need a whole different renewal,
Yep.
finding a different way of doing things versus the way you've been continuously doing it. So,
Right. I think some of it too. I mean, people will complain that they're in burnout more than they're actually in burnout, I think,
mhm,
but because they haven't gotten to that point yet. So if you can recognize that you're getting into a burnout mode,
mhm,
recognize it, acknowledge it, see that it's helping you find a better path. And you need to take care of yourself.
yeah,
You need to find joy in your life and take care of you can kind of prevent that burnout from coming to the point where you don't care about anything. You're detached, not unattached, but detached from everything. And it'll make a big difference if you're doing your
mhm,
self-care.
yes, and that's the one thing a lot of people don't feel that they need to do things for themselves. You're most of us, majority of us, probably do things for other people, and we always forget about us.
Yeah.
So,
No is a complete sentence.
mhm.
You can use that word to release some of that.
Yeah, it's about stepping back and finding, like I need some downtime for me. So that's
Yeah.
kind of where it goes, to be honest with you.
Right. One challenging thing is there are times where you're doing what you absolutely love and you still get into burnout mode because that's all you've been focusing on. It doesn't mean you don't love it anymore. It means you need to take care of yourself too, not just the thing that you love.
That's true. And even your body will tell you that it's burnt out. Like if you're not sleeping at night, Marge, or if you're just constantly your mind's constantly going because you have so many things that you have to get done and do. And you just like, oh my God, you get home and you're already mentally exhausted and just you've got to keep pushing yourself.
Right?
That in itself is just it's very overwhelming, very stressful for anybody who has that mentality. And so
It is.
that's why we're telling you, find the joys in the little thing. Be grateful with just simple things in life, and stepping back from the burnout. I cannot stress that enough because people have probably passed over because of burnout, not taking care of themselves or
Yeah.
helping themselves when they thought that I've got a family to support and I need to do this and you don't understand. Trust me, you still have to take a step back. Everybody's been in the same boat at one time or another.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And burnout. Um,
Burnout. No fun. It's no fun.
no, it isn't. Um, have you ever thought about any concerns or fears with burnout, or like if you don't do this, maybe you're going to get fired, or if I don't do this, even though I've been pushing myself, I don't feel proud of myself. Have you ever felt something like that?
Yeah, oh yeah. Every time you go into burnout, every time. It's like I know I'm not doing a very good job at work. I haven't been doing a good job at work for months because of the burnouts just getting worse and worse. Then you don't even want to get up in the morning to go to work. Or when I was a caregiver and it was like you just felt like you weren't doing enough because you couldn't fix the problem. And but if you look at it and recognize it and say, I need to take care of me too. You've got to take care of you too.
Yes, tons of retail therapy.
Ah, yeah.
I know people who utilize retail therapy 101 for burnout.
Yeah.
So, and
And but the burnout too, if you recognize that it's helping you get to a different place in your life, they are it's not fun, but it can be a catalyst to a better you.
yeah.
Because you're to get out of it, you have to sit back and reevaluate your situation. Why do I feel like this? Maybe not being as super analytical as some people can be,
Hmm.
but kind of say, I'm not happy about this. Why do I not feel happy? I love this job, but what's making me feel like this? Or I
Yeah.
love this person that I'm taking care of, or I love the classes I'm taking in school. But because you're not managing the stressful parts of it, it gets to be a burden and it gets to be cumbersome. And then it just spirals into this not
Whole
fun
trigger
place.
effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a trigger effect. That's you don't think that like it's not that you're not doing your best. You are doing your best, but you're overdoing your best, I guess. It's not overdoing, but you're overwhelming yourself to do your best.
Yeah.
So, um, well,
It's
I will
amazing
say,
that the physical symptoms that you don't think about when you're heading into burnout, you don't recognize the physical symptoms necessarily because you're so focused on whatever is burning you out. You don't realize you've been clenching your teeth, you're eating more junk food, you're not sleeping as well, or you're sleeping too much. You're just exhausted. First thing
mhm,
in the morning, you're exhausted. That's because you're still running at night. If you're actually getting some sleep, your mind is not getting the rest it needs, true rest.
yeah,
All those things that you start looking at. If we all evaluated our lives every week, we would be better off. But nobody takes the time to do that. Very few people take the time to actually look at um, their mental status.
mhm. Yeah, that's true. Even with when you're working your 9 to 5 job Monday through Friday, that can become tedious. And then the weekend comes, and you're like, oh my God, Friday's finally here. I'm ready to do something, blah, blah, blah. And then, like the weekend, I can tell you, Mark, just Sunday's here before you know it, it's like we took two minutes off of our weekend and then we're back into work again. And so,
Right.
when you're in that mindset of like, oh my God, it's already Sunday, I got to go work tomorrow and start all this over. So, it's just taking a step back on your weekend and, trying to find balance there because that the weekends seem to shift so quickly. And so just find some downtime if you can for yourself to get away or go do something, hit the ocean or just do something for you, even if like I can't express enough, just something small because yeah, that weekend's going to come by fast. It creeps up on you all the time before you know it's Sunday, Sunday's over and Monday's pop through again.
Right.
And so it's just finding, like you said, finding out that balance that works for you. If you have to, by Friday, come Thursday, start getting your mindset into your weekend mode. Like, okay, what is it I want to do this weekend? What's going to inspire me? What's going to give me some downtime? What am I going to find joy in that I can do this weekend? And so, go do it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a weekend. Some people will have days off during the week. And so that's kind of how you should kind of get your mind process. Because yes, you've got all work. Work's not going to ever go anywhere.
Right.
And so I just think with you start getting into that mindset of, okay, my weekend's coming, I'm ready to go, or my day's off is coming, I need to do something inspiring other than our basics. I'm sure like any of us, we have to clean house, we have to do the laundry, we have to go get the groceries. And so, yeah, that just comes with all the territory, pay the bills. And so just set some time, even though you've got to still do all that, set some time away from just getting away from the house, or getting away from that mindset of everything that's just the day-to-day routine.
Very good.
Yeah, so that's my spill. I will pull another card, March, before we close this beautiful conversation on
Okay.
burnout. I think we've hit a lot of trigger points, a lot of points for burnout today.
Yeah.
Hopefully people who see this podcast will understand, they're right. I need to take a little breather. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we got Swan, which is Grace. I went ahead and pulled this one since you just like this deck. It's such a beautiful deck too. And this one closing out says, you who glides across the water of my soul, bring me your wisdom and light. Help me transform into elegance and grace. Inspire me with dignity and the spirit of beauty.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So finding grace, when you are burned out. I don't think any of us, or a lot of us, truly don't find grace in what we're doing.
True.
And this card is just telling you to bring grace into what it is that you're wanting to do, and taking a break from whatever it is. And you're doing it specifically for your soul, to help your soul, help you rejuvenate, help you not feel like you hate the world because there's so much going on. So,
right.
Yeah, beautiful card. Elegance and grace, Marge. It's all about the elegance and grace.
Yeah, even when you're not, especially when you're not feeling very elegant or graceful.
And you can tell because sometimes, when you go to work, your makeup's not done right, or your hair's not combed, you barely had time to throw your clothes on and you're out the door. You can tell, like, oh,
yeah. That means you're not taking care of you.
No.
You're not taking the time for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Well, this has been a very fun little podcast today.
Yeah.
Did you have anything to add, Marge, before we close out?
I don't think so. I would like to ask people to go to www.neuvias.com, because if they have a story that they'd like to tell, and we are going to be publishing a multi-author book, and would love to get a story that regular everyday people, we don't want, not that we don't want gurus, but just everyday people that have an insight that they've gained. Maybe writing will help them.
Absolutely.
And deal with some of that. So come on over, take a look at it.
Yes, we'd love to definitely truly hear from you. So
yes.
Well, thank you for joining us. My name is Carol, and have a good morning, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Keep her healthy for sure, because
yes,
Mother Nature needs love, lots of love.
Absolutely.
And like Marge said, visit us at www.neuvias.com. We'll see you next time.
And don't forget to like and subscribe, and let us know what you think of the podcast.
Yes, like and subscribe.
Thanks.
Love you guys.
Love y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.